Episode 20. Yes, this is me in pink, but I think I look pretty good in pink if you're watching us on Spotify. I'm in pink today, thanks to Phil, Matty, and Steve, who's not here. Welcome, guys. You are part of Moray Mental HealthFC. Give yourself a little introduction, Phil.
My name's Philip, 29, from Forres, and yeah, co-run Moray Mental Health Football Club with Steve and Slinger.
Excellent.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having us. It's, pleasure to be asked. But yeah, I'm Matty, so one of the co-founders of Moray Mental Health FC, alongside Phil and Steve. Who unfortunately is looking after the cows tonight, so he couldn't make it, unfortunately.
I take it Steve's a farmer.
Is it father-in-law is? So
okay.
He's been roped into it. Yeah.
Right. That's what you got to do. It's part of the family. Yeah.
I mean, he's marrying the guy's daughter, so he's got to do... He's got to pull his weight, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Part of the family business now. I love it. Okay. We'll kind of get you guys to speak for Steve tonight, and we'll try and get him back in before the year's out.
Yeah, he was proper gutted he couldn't make it on tonight, so he's looking forward to coming back on in the future.
Yep. He was, so I actually bumped into you guys for the first time last week at Chris's book launch. Out there, give Chris a shout on, I think it's Facebook he's doing it through?
And Instagram
as well. Christopher Saunderson. Fantastic book. I met you guys there just kind of briefly. I had my little one with me, so I couldn't do too much. But Steve was speaking last week. He looked quite nervous. I'm not going to lie. Did you guys know that you were getting pulled up there before that happened?
Well, so he gave us a heads up like a few weeks ago, saying, "I may ask you to speak to people or something along those lines." I didn't actually think we were going to get called up to sort of present to the assembly.
Out of the three of us, Stephen's got that gift of being able to talk on the spot, though.
Okay.
I think I'd have just crumbled.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I'd be shaking. Like Chris himself was shaking. I could see that when he was so.
That's when Chris said, "I don't swear much," and then proceeded to swear every 30 seconds for the entire time. It was great.
Chilled. He kept apologising. I'm like, mate, here's worse at home. Don't worry.
Anyone that's come to one of our kickabouts will see that Steve's the talker of the group.
Yeah.
I'm admin. Phil's tech, Steve talks. We've got our own little laybys that we stick in, and it's great. Yeah.
Play your strengths, boys. That's what it's all about.
Exactly.
Play your strengths. Okay, I'm going to get straight in questions. How good are football players were you at kids? And did anyone get to a decent level? What school teams? Did you play anything like that?
So I never played in the school team, and I don't know whether, so long ago, I don't know whether it was just I made an effort to try and join the school team or whether I just never kind of fell into it. But the majority of my football career was soccer sevens.
Loved it.
Yeah, soccer sevens, and for a lot of people as well.
Such a core memory, isn't it?
It was we lived for soccer sevens every single week, and there's just nothing better than just at the start of the season, going up to the community centre, finding out what team you're going to be, and then you're just playing against your mates every single week.
Yeah.
And then I think I went to a couple of development training squads for Forest Mechanics, and then there was a game that coincided with the Soccer Sevens final, and it was basically if you got that Soccer Sevens final instead of this season game, you're off the team. And I was like, well, there's no chance I'm not going to this final.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I think the height of my career was just Soccer Sevens, but I couldn't have asked for anything more because, like I said, I lived for that and stuff. So,
what kind of position? What kind of player were you?
I was never any good at defence. I never know what I'm doing in defence, but up front, I'd say I'm okay. I don't know, maybe more so a playmaker than a goal scorer. I'd say.
Creative.
I try to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's easy when you're playing with good players and you pass the ball and they get it in that difficult position. They'll make you look good. So, yeah.
Brilliant. Matty?
Maybe bench for the school team a couple of times, but again, it was mostly soccer sevens. But you might have had the same experience. Back at soccer sevens, I remember getting given a little ticket from a guy. He said he was a Ross County scout, and he was like, "Oh, get yourself down to county for a trial," and just being like, "Right, cool, playing for Scotland, going to win a World Cup, Ballon d'Or. Well,
I've made it.
You know, I've made it. And then you go there and there's like 500 other kids. Like literally, they're just giving these tickets out to people, and you're like,
Right.
And it's like,
It's one of them.
not
That's
quite. No, I never really got to much of a level. Like, never played Highland League, nothing like that. I was just like, mostly pub league in Elgin for a while, and I got a red card, refused to pay the fine, and never went back. And then,
I love that.
like, I don't know, I think it was a tenner, and I was just like blatantly refused to pay it. So I was like, nah, I'm not coming back. But now, like, position wise, I don't know. With the club now, I'm sort of the John O'Shea of the team. Like, every game we've played, I've had a different position. But like, you know how like if like a good number 10, the older they get, and when they lose their legs, they just sort of move back.
Yep.
Until eventually they become a 6. Well, I started out as a winger, and now I'm a fullback. So that's, as my belly's gotten bigger, I've just moved further down the pitch.
Well, they say Ruud Hullet started off as a striker and finishing off as a centre back, and he got better as he got older. So take that.
You're not out your prime yet. So
I'm older than Cantona now when he retired, so it's hard to judge.
And do you have any knowledge about Steve as a youngster, as a footballer?
Oh, Steve.
He was a really
achieved
good
the most
goalkeeper.
out of us. Yeah. He was bench. Well, I say bench on mechanics, but in the nicest way, because he was behind 90.
Okay.
And obviously 90 held down that position for like, what, 12 years?
At least, yeah.
At least. So like Steve was he was the backup for a long time, and even now he's in sticks for Thistle, so he's winning 17-0 every other weekend now. Yep. So he's sort of, he dipped out with the football for a few years, and I think when we started up with the club, and obviously like we're like a sort of charity team sort of thing, so he sort of got back into the pub league, and sorry, that's summer league, not pub league. No disrespect. So like he's sort of gotten back more into that, and I think he's really sort of got a new wind in his sails for it now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I think so.
Excellent. Brilliant, guys. How do the three of you meet?
I don't even think I could give you a proper answer.
I think it was just through like mutual friends, and then.
How long ago did you meet roughly?
We all went to school together, but we were never.
I was a couple of years older. So,
Yeah.
So like,
I think
I want to say you were 18 and I was about 20, 21.
Yeah.
Around about that. So we had a really good mutual friend. So I worked with a boy called Ollie Tinsley. He'll love getting a shout out. So I worked with him at Brodie Country Fair just down the road, and he was obviously really good pals with Phil, and we just sort of connected through that. And then I can't even remember how we met Steve.
I don't know who brought him into the group.
Cammy.
Cameron, in the group. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, another mutual friend that we all had, and it's like, hey, this is Steve.
Yeah.
We became good pals with Steve.
It was kind of like everyone went off to uni, and we were like the melting pot of what was left of Forres.
Yeah.
So
that's a brilliant description.
So then we just kind of
when you just start mixing all the leftover cereal just to
that's how
make a full bowl.
I'd say
of
that's how
breakfast.
the friendship group formed. To be honest, really.
The cereal at the end's the best bit, boys.
Yeah.
And you still maintain? Are you like? Do you meet up weekly with the football? Do you socialise regularly, or is it just kind of a football thing? Like me myself, like Brian's probably one of my best pals. I've got a couple of close pals. I had a huge group of pals when I was about 20, and it's just went from this size to this size in the last 10 years. And I find your good friends are left. You're the ones that are left are.
I feel like approaching our 30s. I'm well past my 30s now. Well into it, I should say. Like we've it's sort of trimmed down, I guess, to a good group of mates we got now, I would say.
We were literally on about this on the car journey here, saying that it's like the older we're getting, I think it's finally hit that point where you've got to have the realization that you're like, I might not see this person as much this year, but that's just like a fact of life.
It is.
Like, everyone's busy, everyone's doing all their own thing and stuff, but I'd still say there's like that core friend, like circle of friends that we've got. We'll speak to each other, we might not see each other as much, but it's always like when someone comes home, it's like nothing's changed.
Like I literally live 2 minutes from Steve's house, and we'll still only see each other once every couple of weeks. I mean, he's going to be a dad soon. We all work. We're all tired all the time. So it's difficult, especially when you get to your sort of 30s and you're like, shit, this, more difficult to sort of get stuff done in a weird way.
Life gets in the way, but it's not a bad thing. You don't need to see it as a bad thing. You need to see it as like the times that you do get together are a bit better now because you get less of it.
Completely.
You appreciate it a lot more.
Absolutely. I've got a mate that lives down in Leeds, and I don't see him very often, but when he comes up, it's like we've never been away from each other, and we don't even speak that much through text or anything like that. But he'll text me, I'm coming up and that, and maybe get a couple hours, and it's like, you know, he hasn't lived here for 15 years, and it's just, it's huge, you know, it's huge. That little moments, I think, lean a lot more than monotony of seeing someone every day, you know, and it's like, it's good.
I always think of that Kevin Bridges joke. It's like you see your best mate after 10 years. Oh, what's new? Fuck all, mate, yourself. You know, it does have vibes of that, doesn't it?
Yeah, same conversations, like, but you wouldn't have it any other way.
No.
You know, if somebody started coming out and they were a totally different person, you'd be like, that's kind of...
You'd be worried.
Yeah, guy's changed.
It's nice to have that consistency where it's like, I know what we're going to talk about. It's going to be great. I don't have to think about anything else for the next couple of hours.
I love it, mate. I love it.
It's just easy chat.
That's it. Yeah. I've seen, I think it was a meme I've seen where guys can just sit for hours in silence and it's all good. You know, you know, it's just fantastic.
My wife literally sent me something, like, it was a while ago now, but she sent me something. It's like men will just sit around and quote Anchorman to each other.
Yep.
And it's like,
old Premier League strikers.
Hugo Rodallega.
Ryan, who you got?
I don't have a fact at the moment, but I remember before we went to the boxing the other week, we sat down for 3 hours to watch Goal of the Month from 2006, every single version of it. Then went on to watch the Puskas winners, then went on to watch the runners-up to see if the runners-up were better than the actual goals.
That's so true.
Was Amir Zaki in that first list, by the way?
He might have been.
Yeah,
there was actually a few that we kind of contested and was like, that goal wasn't as good as the one that won.
No.
Yeah.
Any sort of FIFA, anything FIFA or UEFA awarded is a scam.
Yeah,
it's
kind of like the Oscars of football, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, completely.
I'll go John Carew.
John Carew.
Yeah.
Got an old Leeds striker.
Remember when he got that
Phil?
dodgy neck tattoo? By the way?
I don't know. It rings a bell.
Mark Viduka. Mark Viduka.
Well,
He almost made my list of my top 3.
Celtic player. He was a bit selfish, but he was class. He was absolutely bullied players, absolute bullied defenders for just 3, 4, 5 years.
Did not care about fitness. Absolutely appreciate that.
Smoked as well.
Yeah.
You know that? Him and Mark Bosnich both smoked. Like,
Mark Bosnich did a lot in his spare time.
Yeah.
We'll not get into it. As a Man United fan, I've heard it all. Like,
I mean, most players are surprised at hearing the smoke. Mark Bosnich is not one that I'm surprised to hear that.
My favourite smoking footballer was, do you remember Raja Nainggolan?
The Belgian guy, yeah.
He literally quit the Belgium national team because they said, you need to stop smoking, and he said no, so he just quit his country. I applaud that.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got to kind of rate it, really, don't you? It's the Eden Hazard nearly quit as well because they wouldn't let him have a burger or something when he was a sub.
Man, and the professional football players as well. This is nuts. Okay, who was your football idols growing up, or even now? Who just is your football idol? If you think one football player to define your life, who is it?
Mine's a boring answer. It's David Beckham.
Great answer.
Literally, I grew up as a Man United fan I was born in the early 90s, so I grew up watching, like, my informative years were the class of 92, early 2000 Becks with the dyed blonde hair, and like basing my entire style on, attempting to base my entire style on that. Nah. It's a boring answer, but it's the truthful answer good. Anyway.
I like it.
I'd probably say the one that stuck out to me a lot when I was younger was Alan Smith.
Yeah. Smudger.
Another bleach blonde boy. Hey.
He always stuck out to me watching Leeds when I was younger. But I'd probably say, I'll mention him again, Ronaldinho is just, I just can't get over how masterful he is with the ball.
So I can give you a fun fact about Alan Smith, and you won't believe this, and you can look this up.
Do we need to crop this bit out? Or?
No.
Oh, okay.
So there's a saying in South Korea called having an Alan Smith, and
it's not about breaking your leg, is it?
Genuinely. And it's about
I was about to say, what is this Cockney rhyming slam game?
You might have to look this up for me, right? You might have to look this up for me, but it's like, you know how we have sayings in our lives and it relates back to moments. So they have a saying and it's called having an Alan Smith, and it's about getting to a peak point in your life, and then you go and do something else, and it's a downfall of you. And they're on about the Leeds Alan Smith was the peak Alan Smith, and then he went to Man United, and it was a downfall of him. And it's actually in Korea. It's a saying.
I would argue it was when he was playing as a single pivot for Sam Allardyce's Newcastle was being the downfall. So
that was an interesting team.
Yeah.
My God. But it's like one of my favorite TV shows is A View from the Terrace on the BBC.
Like that, yeah.
And they had something on recently where, like, I want to say it's Ghana. I may be getting the country wrong, but in Ghana they say like doing a Dundee United means like you're having a mayor, like you're failing or something.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so weird.
It's
like this sort of stuff happens.
Have you got it, Ryan?
Okay, so here's a New York Times article of all the papers to cover this. So it's not actually having an Alan Smith. It's just the simple saying Leeds Days.
Leeds Days, sorry, it was, right. Yeah.
Understanding a Korean cultural phenomenon. I can't believe I'm about to read this out. It's hard to know where you start, but explaining to your wife that you've been looking up middle-aged women, where is this going, from South Korea on social media for an article about Leeds United feels like a good place as any. If you're wondering why on earth this is going on, it's a truly bonkers story that involves the ex-Leeds and Manchester United forward Alan Smith and his former teammate Park Ji-sung, and also takes in everything from Prince William's receding hairline to a youthful Keira Knightley. Where is this going, Lee?
There's nothing wrong with receding hairlines.
So
I'm
pretty sure your Leeds days. Sorry, I wasn't.
Yeah,
Alan
so
Smith.
Leeds days to describe their heyday.
Yeah, so they call their prime of their life their Leeds days, and it refers back to Alan Smith in his Leeds days, and that was his prime of his life.
Right. Yes. Okay.
So there's a short of the story. I think. See, for John Teasdale, maybe not John Teasdale. He's a bit of a character, but for one of the episodes, we should find that story and dig into that.
I think you should find Alan Smith.
Oh, that's a dream. But he was part of that good Kuhl, Viduka, Ian Hart, Nigel Martin, Lucas Radaby, Paul Robinson. Just listened to a podcast with him the other day. It was fantastic.
That David O'Leary team, basically, wasn't
David O'Leary, Dom Matteo,
God,
Gary Speed,
rest in peace. Yeah,
David Batty.
My God, Leeds used to be awesome.
Used to be all right. Yeah.
Yeah, some quality players, some really good players, and then it just. We'll not go into that. Episode 3, if you want to listen to more of that.
If you want to listen to Phil cry, just wait for next week's episode.
Yeah, we don't want Phil to cry. Okay, right. I like this question. I had to think. Right, if you had to compare the other two guys to professional football players, who's are comparable? Okay, Phil, I'm going to let you go first.
So Stephen in net, I compare him to Neuer.
Okay,
he's just calm, cool, and collective on the pitch.
Does he play that high line?
He does.
Yeah. He sometimes gives us a bit of a fright when he's playing. Like he likes to, but it's mostly because he's just cool, calm, and collective on the pitch. Okay. That's how and I always think that with watching Neuer. And and then with Slinger, I couldn't think, and then he helped me out a little bit, and I was like Roberto Carlos.
Okay.
Because
bald fullbacks.
But he is solid at the back, I think. And then that's my sort of comparison for Slinger.
I'll take it.
Yeah,
magic.
It's not a bad player.
I was saying to Phil because this was the question that we were both most concerned with, and I was saying to Phil, I was like, I don't want your one to sound like an insult, so I thought I need to tell you before we get on here.
Okay.
So I said Jamie Vardy.
Right.
Reason being is because anyone that's watched Phil play, he just runs all day and he scores. Like literally the top goal scorer for the team alongside Didi, which is a hell of an achievement, I must say.
Yep.
So to be on the same amount of goals as Didi is a pretty good thing, I would say.
Yeah, I was happy with Jamie Vardy. I think he's cool. So,
and goalkeeper wise, yeah, it's sort of Neuer because obviously he's not the tallest, and like Steve's height has never been a problem when he's in the sticks.
Okay.
So again high line. The amount of times, literally in our last game, I played a dodgy back pass where I sort of whiffed the ball towards him, and he somehow managed to beat the striker to it and get red. And I was like, I was very apologetic after that. Yeah. But we didn't concede when I was on the pitch, so I'm still taking that as a win.
Okay,
they won't let me take free kicks like Roberto Carlos though. That's the only unfortunate thing.
I'd let you do it next time as a free kick.
What we got? DD, Grizzly,
There's a lot of free kick takers
There's
to
a
compete
lot,
with.
yeah, literally. It's an entire team of like Berbatovs. It's incredible.
We'll get on to DD in a bit because I've watched him in a few welfare games, let's just say. This is Ryan, if you're going to video any games for welfare, this is a guy you need to be just doing a player cam on.
Lee, go push the mic ever so slightly away from you.
Away from me, sorry.
No, up, point up.
There? That better?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll have to do.
Sorry. Okay, so it's been a bit of a laugh, but I know we've got a wee, not a dark story, just got a wee bit of a darker time to speak about in the next couple of minutes. How did Moray Mental Health FC start?
Well,
Can I give you a quote from Chris's book about you to just kind of
absolutely.
put
Yeah.
you into that, because on page 92.
I've not reached our chapter yet, actually, so I'm
So I'll just give you this.
slightly
little
nervous.
bit. It says, it's one thing to talk a good game when it comes to mental health, but to walk the walk and do something tangible to support yourself and others going through a tough time, then that is top of league kind of stuff. 3 friends, Matty Slinger, Phil Barton and Stephen Simpson, lost a mutual friend to suicide, and like many in those situations, never saw the signs that anything was wrong. Rather than just accept their loss and move on with their lives, which everyone touched by suicide must do, they came together to try and ensure that people struggling with their emotions and potentially at risk taking their own life could have somewhere to go, something to do, and new friends to reach out to. So that's just the start of the chapter about you. Okay, I'll let you go further on
don't know
with
how much
yourselves.
better we could put it ourselves, to be honest. But yeah, like I explained just there, well, the 3 of us, like, we've always been quite charitable. Like me and Phil have done walks for charity. Steve's always been very generous with his money for charity as well. And the 3 of us, we decided like we wanted to do something. So we initially spoke about maybe starting like a talking group.
Mm-hmm.
But between the 3 of us, like, we were like, would you turn up to a talking circle? Like, if you said, okay, you know, you're going to go hang out in a room with strangers and talk about your feelings. Myself personally, I wouldn't go to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me. Like, I was never that sort of person to chat about my feelings at the best of times. So I think one of the things we sort of came up with was like, one of our favorite things as a kid is like playing cuppy.
Yep.
You know,
Loved it.
whatever, obviously people will call it different things in different areas of the country, but essentially just, you know, kids, jumpers with goalposts, just kicking a ball about for 3-4 hours, no one's keeping score, just enjoying yourselves. We thought if we could sort of channel that into helping people find help. So the likes of, you'll see on the camera, so Mikey's lines are on the front of our shirts.
Yeah.
So they're like an amazing Northeast, and well, they're moving into Moray now, charity that deals with suicide prevention and mental health issues. So the biggest thing with us is being able to say people come down, play football, have fun, but we are going to sort of try and nudge you in that direction of, if this is what you need, you know, take this. So we get loads of leaflets, etc. So we'll give people the leaflets and be like, you know, go home, presence of your, you know, just in your own presence, in your own house, your own time, comfortable, reach out to somebody. It's free. And of course, like we'll get onto it, but like we'll speak to people ourselves at the kickabouts.
It's,
Yeah. It was Slinger who came up with all the sort of the basis of the idea and everything, and then he kind of approached me and Stephen and was like, what do you think about this? And then it all just evolved into what it is today, essentially. And
so initial idea, when would you say roughly you had your initial idea?
I think we had the 3 of us chatted in my living room, April last year?
Yeah,
April 23.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were like, we'll give ourselves 2 months, like a run up, get everything planned, get everything in. Apologies. Get everything like sort of prepared, because you know yourself, like you can get people excited for an idea, or you can get people up for something, and then if they turn up and it looks amateurish, they might not come back. So we gave ourselves 2 months of prep. Steve, who features on the back of our shirts, his business, he fronted the money to start the whole thing. If he hadn't fronted the money, like we'd have been done by July. Essentially, we greatly underestimated how much it is for facilities. especially in Moray. So we got lucky. We got lucky. We sort of hit the iron while it was hot, I guess. Like, we had people that were keen, and I mean, even for the first Kickabout, STV News reached out to us.
That's mad.
And they were like, "Can we come down and film?" And we didn't even know what we were doing at that point.
You didn't know if people would even turn up.
Yeah.
Like, it was 3 kicking a ball about.
Me and Phil, I think a couple of days before STV were coming down, we went to Sports Direct with 50 quid. We bought 2 balls, a pack of bibs, and a pair of goalie gloves, and then had like no change from that.
Yeah.
So
You guys have done well then. Like, it's mad. Like, you don't realise until, like, you posted a photo of your Kickabout the other night. 60 people there?
47.
47,
Yeah.
sorry, people there. What was the numbers at your first Kickabout?
I think it was like 10 to 15
9,
people.
10.
Yeah.
Including us 3, I think
Yeah.
about 12 maybe, actually.
And have you seen that kind of gradually just be a diagonal up the way of numbers?
Pretty much. There was
Yeah.
a rough period during the winter where every Kickabout we booked got cancelled because of the weather.
Yep.
And we did wonder after, what, was that a month and a half of cancellations? We did wonder, like, are people just going to be like, you know what, that was fun. But
Even when some of the games didn't get cancelled, even though it was like, we were just getting battered with the rain and wind, people in great numbers still turned up and stuff, that was great to see as well.
yeah. But
We're getting to the point where it's like, we're almost running out of goals to set up and stuff. And
Yeah.
we're going to need a 4th pitch soon and stuff.
I literally
So
got
it's-
home on Wednesday night and I had to order more bibs because we ran
Yeah.
out of bibs on Wednesday. I think we had 1 bib left by the time we were like, if any more people show up, we're just going to have to, the team that's not got bibs is just going to have like 15 people on it at this point, like 15 v 10.
Yeah.
But we've been incredibly lucky. I mean, shortly after our first Kickabout, Paul Lynch, who's now the gaffer, he reached out to us. He runs Soccer Sevens. Obviously, we spoke about that pre-recording. And Soccer Sevens have been great with us. Like, they've given us a space that's more than adequate for what we ever thought. And honestly, like, we've said this to Paul repeatedly, like, without Steve's backing at the start and then obviously Soccer Sevens, like, this would have been done by August.
I think Paul, more than he realises, has been like instrumental in helping us achieve where we've got today.
Yeah.
And stuff. And like, even to the point on Thursday, I got down a little earlier than normal, and he was out like lining all the pitches and everything. And he's done so much for this club and stuff. So, like, massive thanks to Paul as well. So, and it's quite a beautiful thing that it's Soccer Sevens was our lives when we were growing up.
Yeah.
And it's gone sort of full circle, and now we're like working with Soccer Sevens now as well.
Yeah.
I think that's a really kind of
It's
special thing.
beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. I honestly, like, he has no idea. Even all the regulars, like, the boys started coming down last summer. Like, there's too many to name, but the boys started coming down last summer and put faith in us that they actually believed that we were actually going somewhere with this. And even now, like, they're volunteering, they're getting down early, setting up the pitches, goals. They're chatting to people alongside us, like, if people are having rough days, because part of the whole thing is we make ourselves very open to chatting. Like, it's always easy, in my own opinion, it's almost easier speaking to strangers.
I agree.
So, like, and yeah, all the boys have been so open with speaking to newbies, bringing them in. Is this your first session? What's your name? Like, all this stuff. Like, everyone. Honestly, we put it up the other day, but like, it's the people that make it. Like, without the people, like, we would just be, self-kit wankers.
I don't know what we'd be doing.
No, he's doing an awesome job. Like, there's nothing around here like this, and you guys are really making an attempt to help people. I think Chris had spoke about, like, even he says the buses through to games, you've got guys speaking about different things. I put my phone on silent.
I was worried that was me for a second there.
You'll get guys speaking about different things, and like, maybe guys who won't normally. He says I think Chris is in his 50s, is he?
I think like early to mid 50s. Yeah.
He says I'm speaking to guys that are in their 20s and we maybe don't have anything in common, but we're speaking about things that are mutual, and it's just, you might not be speaking about your mental health, but just speaking helps. you know?
Well, one of the biggest so obviously the Facebook page, like, we're quite open. Like, if you want to ask us what it's about, or like, we made YouTube videos to try and show people what it's like as well, so you can sort of visualize it before you get there. But like we've had people message the Facebook group saying like, I have no friends, I have nobody to hang out with, like this, like I just want to come down and just speak to people, hang out with people, not asking for a hug, but quite literally like people being like, I have nobody, and this gives me human interaction that isn't like transaction based, I guess, like working and all that sort of stuff. So it's hard because I mean, like we've been good friends well over a decade. The idea of not having friends or people you can speak to is awful. You know what I mean? Like,
so a question I kind of like. I used to be a support worker, caregiver, whatever you want to call it. You guys are looking after a lot of people. Do you have guys that look after yous?
That's a good question.
I will say we have very good women in our lives.
Yeah.
Like first and foremost,
supportive.
Like Rowan, Danny, and obviously Steve has Becky. And like, honestly, I don't think half of, like I'm maybe being a bit dramatic, but I don't think we'd be nearly as half as motivated if we weren't with our good ladies, to be honest.
Helps.
Yeah, like I know myself during COVID, like I just, like obviously because I've known my wife for years, but we didn't actually start dating until during COVID. And like I know during COVID, like I work and I drank. That's all I did for like, God, I don't even know how long.
You ain't half the population, mate.
Yeah, like legit. Like it's like honestly, like I just got such a reliance on it. And like my wife was just like, you need to sort of channel that energy you're putting into drinking into something productive. And speaking for myself personally, like I wouldn't nearly have half the motivation I do to do anything without her support.
It's just, sometimes people who are generous with their time and generous with their care don't sometimes maybe reflect on themselves. I always feel the people who've been through the hardest times of themselves are normally in the best position to give advice and opinions and things like that. We've always said that before, haven't we? Like, you go through a hard time, it makes you not a hard person, but certainly a better outlook and a different outlook and better place to give advice and things. Like, so certainly you guys with your story have been through a bit of a difficult time. Like, I've never experienced anything you guys have experienced personally. I wouldn't like to. So take my hats off to you. Well done. And keep up the good word. Like, honestly.
I suppose there's like something in that though, because like it's one thing you hear a lot whenever someone's going through a bad time, and one of the automatic responses you hear is, well, everyone's got problems. And that is true, right? But at the same time, everyone experiences things differently, and things are more difficult for people in different personalities and all that. So it's
everyone's got different coping mechanisms.
100%, yeah, totally.
And do you know what? Like, just because somebody doesn't see somebody else's problem as a problem, it doesn't mean it's a problem. Like, people's minds work differently.
Yeah, completely, yeah.
Something that might be a minor problem with someone is a huge problem with someone else. And it's just like, everyone's got their own problems and people have to respect that,
Like, I'm sure everyone can appreciate, like, I don't know, you could go through like a run of bad stuff happening to you. And then, I don't know, you hit your toe off a table, and then you just lose your absolute shit.
Yes.
And it's like the breaking point thing. It's completely. I speaking as a man, like I know my coping mechanisms have always been terrible.
Yes.
Like
Same.
never handled bad shit well.
I'm a bottler. Like I'll bottle a lot of things up, even to like months on end, and then it'll get to a point where it'll just be too much. I'll just have not like a breakdown, but I'll just be like, fuck, like I do not feel good right now.
Your brain almost, because it gets overworked and just wants to shut down for a little bit. Yeah.
Question for all yous here. Do you think these types of things have been amplified by social media in one way or another over the last 20 years?
And COVID, I think.
Yeah. I think it's also the fact that the key to things about speaking is speaking about things, but also speaking about things makes it fresh in the mind and makes you aware of your own problems, and it's good for you, but it's also slightly bad for you at the same time.
It can make it real.
Yeah, that perfect, Phil.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was looking for. It makes it real, and that's a bit daunting for some people sometimes.
Yeah.
And as you're saying, your coping mechanisms are vital in that sense. You guys are a coping mechanism for a lot of people, I bet you. I run a welfare squad with Dominic, and Sunday we get 12, 14, 15 guys coming down to us on Sunday, and sometimes we're their coping as in best hour of the week, best 2 hours of the week, they say. He's my coping mechanism. I come in here, love this, absolutely love this. Had a shit week at work, come in here, do a podcast, enjoy myself. Some people go to the pub, some people go and take drugs, some people go and go for a run. It's a very good one. Doesn't matter. You don't have to be sprinting. You don't have to be marathon runner. You don't have to be good at running. Go for a run. Go for a walk. Clears your head.
Like following up on your point with like drinking drugs, just then like obviously like Moray is a beautiful part of the world. Like don't get me wrong. Like so many nice places here, but the fact there's not much to do makes it so much easier to just fall into that. Yeah, you know, I finish work at 5 on Friday. You won't see me until Sunday evening. Like it's so easy to just fall into that because there's, I know myself, like I work some Saturdays, so that does help with like, you know, boredom on the weekend or anything like that. But like I'll be like, okay, football, and then the football season ends, and I'm like what now? What now? Yeah. What now? What do I do now? And my wife, obviously, like going back to my wife, like she's great for like, let's do this, let's do that. Whereas me, I'm just like my like the 7-8 months a year the football's on. It's like, okay, sweet, I can hit all different things. Like something I've gotten really into since COVID is ground hopping, just going to places I've never been before and watching the football. But when the season ends, I do find myself a loose end, and it can be quite easy to fall back into the bad habits, I guess.
Yeah. 2024 summer, good summer of football though.
Oh, thank God.
But again, it's another one that gets through, like I find it a lot with older generations. I'm not trying to single them out, but everyone has nostalgia bias, right? Like back in my day, things were like this. And the first thing that you hear when people say up here, there's not things to do, the person that's of the older generation will say, well, we didn't have this and that. And it's like the world changes though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And let's be honest, back in those times, everyone was kind of in the same boat where there's a massive disparity now. Like it's mad. Like Murray's not a remote area. It's not anymore, at least anyway. Okay, it's separated by fields and that, but most towns and cities are quite vibrant, if you will, right?
I agree, yeah.
And then they say, oh, there's not enough justification for funding up here. But then you look at places like Chelsea and these lavish areas in London where there's people driving around in Lamborghinis 24/7. You know what I mean? It's just, not to get too political into it, but it is like, it's not an even playing field, is it? You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah.
No. Just a quick one. What do you guys would say is your coping mechanism for a stressful, shitty day? I'll throw this out to you as well, Ryan, because I'm interested to hear yours. I've known you for a long time. I've seen you in some stressful situations.
Yeah. Probably learning something, eh?
Okay.
I think because, especially like getting to do editing and stuff like that as well, it kind of feels like nothing else matters in that moment because I'm so zoned in on what I'm doing. So it takes you out of everything that could potentially be triggering in that moment, you know what I mean? So something that I can focus my full attention on for an hour without having to think of the peripherals, if that makes sense.
Yep. Mine is coaching. Just lose myself. The world doesn't matter when I'm on a coaching field. My house could be on fire, and I'm just completely oblivious. My phone's going off in my pocket, and I'm just in my own little zone. Yourselves, how's your coping mechanism?
I'd probably say doing something that's going to like take my mind off it. So right now I'm going through like a phase of just doing so many different activities.
Yeah,
like I've just taken up fishing recently.
Right. Okay.
That's like great. It's all calm, chilled out. Apart from when you're trying to like wrestle a fish to get the hook out and stuff. But there's that, and then there's I do ice hockey as well.
Okay.
And
that's
football.
A brutal sport.
He goes from the kickabouts to ice hockey. Like he'll play an hour and a half of football and then drive to Lossy to go play ice hockey.
No, you're all right, mate.
It's my general rule is just stay away from the bigger boys.
Okay, right. It's a bit like me on the football pitch.
Yeah, I've still got all my front teeth.
That's my motto, just walking out and about.
But I'd say like doing activities that'll just take me out of that situation that I'm in.
Yeah,
and then because in that situation I might be just like angry, raging or whatever, and I'm just not going to be thinking straight. Nothing's going to get resolved in that situation if I'm angry or anything like that.
No.
So if I can go away and do something like an activity, and time will pass, and then come back to that situation, it's more likely to be resolved if I just put my head in a different headspace of doing an activity. I think it's my best sort of coping mechanisms.
For me, it's number one, walking my dog. Like, I love that, because no matter how fucked off I am, my dog will just walk up to me with his tail wagging and just be like, hello. And I'm like, oh. And like, I do the social media and stuff for the club, and I just love like sticking my head into like Canva. Like, I don't know if you guys have, oh yeah. It's literally, I'll just spend hours just messing around with stuff, and like, I'll speak to the boys and be like, what do you guys think of this? Are you guys cool if I go with this? And I just love that sort of design stuff. Like, I was never very artsy, but I've really found like a little sort of artistic thing that I really enjoy. Yeah. Just doing the social media side of things.
I enjoy the social media thing. I enjoyed putting my TikToks up because I'm having to look up, I'm researching, right, is this a popular hashtag? And it's
I couldn't crack TikTok. I quit it. Yeah. I couldn't figure it out.
Starting to get there.
Social media is quite a hard world to navigate.
It is, yeah. Yeah, it is. I'd just like to point out we just hit 250,000 views on TikTok.
Fantastic. Well done. That's incredible, man. Well done.
250,000 views in like 20 videos, so I'm actually delighted with that. I would mention about the giveaway, but it'll be over by the time I'm doing a giveaway for Chris's book on my podcast page, and it'll actually be over by the time this episode's out, so I won't mention it.
Just say it and I'll like edit someone in where like the phone lines are closed. You know what they used to do on like reality TV and that?
Well, yeah, like when you watch reruns of Strictly Come Dancing and it says these lines are not active or something.
Well, I'd say don't share it, but just share it again, if you want, no worries. Okay, let's get on with the questions a little bit. Who does what at the club? Like, so what's everyone's role?
I think we kind of the three of us we vote on everything. The three of us. So like each of us
3-way vote. Or?
Yeah,
it's quite a democratic process.
It's actually quite it is surprisingly, because we did think like, should we bring in a fourth member? But then we thought if it then goes 2 votes to 2, we're gonna have to bring in a fifth member. So like sort of votes wise, between the three of us, we all have like an even share in the vote. There's been things where it's gone 2-1, or all three of us vote for the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But like we were saying earlier, so like social media and sort of admin-y sort of stuff, I'm quite nerdy with that sort of stuff. Like I work in a bank, so I'm used to just seeing forums all day and nonsense. Steve's, I guess, the salesman. He sells it for everybody. He's speeches, he does the talks and all this sort of stuff. And Phil, again, quite techie. And
I love the idea of just having everything filed and just like everyone getting on the same shared calendar and stuff like, yeah.
He's got a job with you by the sounds of it. Ryan's the techie one. I just get message people and I'm like, do you want to come on a podcast? And,
That was mad. See, when I was at the when we were at the book launch last week, literally sat down, was waiting for you because you were in Burger King with Aaron, weren't you?
Yeah.
And the table next to me, he was like, oh, he was on a podcast last week, and it kind of like piqued my interest. Just, give it the little glance. And he was like, it's some guy, Lee Stewart. He's been pumping them out every week. He's doing really well, like, and I was so tempted to be like, I'm the producer, buddy.
We tend to have like a big sit down, have like a think tank sort of session.
Okay.
Of like what's going on.
Where's the boardroom?
We chop and change between each other's houses. So Steve's sort of doing up his house with his partner, so it's jumping between me and Phil's house at the moment. But
we'll just do we'll think about what we're doing, plans for the future, like what have we got going in the future and what can we do in the future.
What can we do now? What do we need to do medium? What do we need to do long term and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll not speak about it on here, but I've given you guys an idea for next year, and there'll be more to come. Let's just say.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. That's a nice wee.
I literally text Ryan last night, and I was light bulb moment. I was like, phone me now. And then you've got management structure, coaches. How does it work?
I love football. I don't think, like I can name random 2000 strikers.
Love it.
I'm not much of a tactical guy.
No.
Phil, I'm not to be rude, I think you're kind of the same boat as me with that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, and Steve's a goalie, so he doesn't know tactics.
Yeah.
He knows saves. So Paul, who we spoke about earlier from Soccer Sevens, I want to say you and Steve approached him. You could tell this story. You could tell this one.
So we had the game. I can't remember what game it was for. It was for
the
first
Forest
game. For the first charity match.
Mm-hmm.
And me and Stephen were out in the pubs, and we seen Paul in the pubs. And just off the cusp, me and Stephen was just like, "Oh, Paul, you just be the manager." And he was like, "Are you joking, really?" It was like, "Oh yeah, it'll be good, it'll be great." And then it just kind of stemmed from there. And he's just done an amazing job doing it as well. And then we told Slinger a couple of weeks later, it was like, "Oh, by the way, Paul's the new manager."
It was a 2-man vote, so it went through democratically.
But like, he's done amazing with it, and like, he really, like, for upcoming games, he's put on like training sessions and stuff, and
he has like slides and shit. And
he's so organised with it as well.
20th to the 30th minute, this is what we're going to look like, and I'm like,
yeah, he's so organised with it and stuff. But honestly, I think a lot of those games we played, and I know it's not about winning or losing or anything, but like, we turn up, we know what we're doing, we know where we're playing and stuff, and so that's how Paul fell into sort of the management of it.
Brilliant.
But yeah, like, to be honest, like, the whole sort of charity games, charity team thing was never actually part of our plan. So initially we did think we were going to be a pub team. Summer league team.
Yep.
But we did have the worry that if we do the kickabouts as we're doing them, and, you know, like, we're totally inclusive, anyone over the age of 16, male, female, shit, good, little, large, doesn't matter, come down, enjoy yourself. We worried if we started a summer league team, would that get lost? And then it's all well and good to say, you know, come down here for the good of your mental health, but if Thistle are putting 25 goals past you, you're not going to feel good.
No.
And then it was literally Chris, obviously, the book.
Yeah.
Buy it now. He literally approached us, and he was like, would you guys be interested in playing a game against us, the Northern Scott team? And again, it was sort of like one of those glass shatter light bulb moments where we were like, oh yeah. And it was so well received. We were just like, we could do this like 2-3 times a year.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't take a huge amount of time out of our calendars, and it doesn't take away from the kickabouts. The actual charity team is made up of people that attend the kickabouts.
Yep.
So it's all these lads that maybe gave up football years ago, or lads maybe not quite good enough to play summer league. It gives them the opportunity to be in a changing room with people, playing a meaningful game, enjoying yourself. Like, it's great for that. And again, like, Paul has been incredible with the managerial side of things, because certainly I think in the run up to the Forest game last year, we were more concerned with actually organising the game than actual, like, there was boys meeting each other the night of, and we were like, oh, what's your name? Oh, my, you know. So it was a bit amateurish, but we have improved.
Yeah.
It's like, you've got such a selection of players you see there. You've got some absolutely fantastic players. We'll speak about some just shortly. And then you've got like complete other end of the scale that people are just wanting to kick about, you know. Fair play to you guys. 47, 48 your last
47, yeah.
I've got like a little bit about self-promotion. When is your next kickabout? Do you have it booked yet? Do you have it organised?
So we sort of book it around, because Soccer Sevens obviously get complete first dibs. It's their facilities, their pitches. So we sort of work with what works with them, and we try to base it around the weather as well, which is a bit of a nightmare. Like, we'll look at it a week in advance and be like, this day looks okay, and then obviously you get there. Like, it's literally like an inside joke. Like, everybody looks forward to rainy nights at Grant Park, because literally for an entire year and a bit, it's just rained. I think we've had 2 sunny days the entire time.
Yep. We try and do it every 2 weeks. So I think we had one just Wednesday, just gone. So it'll probably most likely be, maybe it might not be Wednesday again. It'll be up all on the social medias, but it'll be 2 weeks from this Wednesday just gone.
Brilliant.
I think so.
But we're coming up to because obviously our first kickabout was June 14th last year. So it's going to be, the next one is going to be essentially like the first birthday, I guess.
That's great.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Awesome.
It's mental how quickly that's gone, actually.
Where can we find you on Facebook? Is it just Moray Mental Health FC on Facebook?
Yeah, Moray Mental Health Football Club, and then Moray Mental Health FC on Instagram. Twitter, because I refuse to call it X, is Moray Mental HealthFC. I think there was like it limits how big the name can be on Twitter. We did have a TikTok, but I killed that off because I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. But we also have a YouTube channel now, so you can watch our previous games. You can it's not a good standard, but you can watch it, and you get to watch DD. Yeah. And you can see what the kickabouts are like, what the training sessions are like. So we get messages saying, you know, it's all well and good saying it's a kickabout, but what actually is it? And we can go, watch this video, this is what it's like. If it's for you, fantastic. If it's not for you, you know, hope you find something that's more to your liking. So if you do have a Google account, please subscribe to the YouTube channel.
And to this one too.
Yes. Anything you need to plug, Phil?
No, yeah, I think you covered that
Any
all off.
podcast or anything? Just
No, I didn't know this was here. I'd love to start like I've always wanted to do an ice hockey podcast, so I might have to
see what your
availability is.
I'm going to give Ryan a little plug here.
I did give you business cards last week, did I?
Oh,
yes. Yeah.
I'm going to give you a little plug. So I think I mentioned it about 10 minutes ago. All I have to do is get in touch with guests. Just have to get in touch with you guys. You guys free this date? Does this time work? Yep. And make up some questions. This guy does everything else for, what's it, about £35 an audio episode?
£30 an hour audio episode. You will see the prices on my website.
Yeah.
Or I can send them to you, so just
to be fair,
me, you know, either
we're
or.
sitting, you guys can confirm with me, we're sitting in a studio with probably about
this place is
good few grand's worth of equipment
by the way.
and things like that. It's quite warm in here. It can be quite cold if Ryan needs it to be.
Mm-hmm. The radiator's not having to be used currently because it's summer, even though it doesn't seem like it outside.
Yeah.
And we will get these mic positioning right one day.
Yeah,
we're still working on that though.
It's because I keep moving about. I'm sorry, I've not been in a few
Nah,
weeks.
you're all good, man.
But Lighthouse Podcast Studio on Facebook. There's a website, .co.uk, am I right?
Yeah, I'll flash it up like I've been doing for the other
go.
ones.
Instagram.
LinkedIn.
We're starting to get a bit of interest, but we need more interest.
Yeah, no, there's been a lot. I've been doing a lot of different things recently, so it's not just the podcasts I do. If you need any kind of live event filmed, we have people come in here that do stuff for like, I was mentioning meditation recordings. I don't know how else to describe that. Like,
Yeah.
I know you said ASMR when we came in, but I was like, I would feel a bit uncomfortable doing something like that. Yeah, that, and I guess if people want to do like audio for work courses and all that type of stuff as well. I did promo videos for Fraser Wilkinson, the boxer, Aidan Stephen before he fought in Cage Warriors. His
Also
last
sponsor
event.
Aidan Stephen.
Yes, do.
He's a legend. He is. He's a big supporter of ours through one of our players' uni.
Yep.
He's a good pal of his, and he's been a big supporter of us.
Yeah.
Like pretty much from the start. Like
Aidan's the man. Like,
oh yeah, he's a great guy.
Just so
terrifying, but great guy.
Yeah.
Actually, he's quite hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, it's
He's one of the biggest characters I know. He's just.
We should plug him. If you want to go see something funny on social media, just add him on Facebook and wait for the show to happen.
I know he listens, right? But do you know how there's a 45-minute open goal compilation of Thomas Gravinson stories?
Yeah.
There's about 3 hours you could do on Aidan Stephen.
Yeah.
I love the Gravinson.
Don't leave your
stories.
motorbike around him.
That's all. Yeah. Guys own motorbikes by any chance?
No, too scared.
Oh, you're safe. You're safe.
Yeah, you're all right.
I'm too much of a bitch to have a motorbike, to be honest with you.
Right, let's get ourselves on. Favorite footballers ever? Okay, can you guys speak for Steve here? Do you know what team does he support?
He's Celtic, of course.
Right, he's getting his own episode.
So, but before we name the players, so basically, like we so the pink and black kits, like we'll get onto the story of them soon. But we said to Steve, what color do you want the goalie kit? Green.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, no problem. Got a green one sorted. And then all the Dev, being a big one of them, is like, you could do a blue goalie kit. So to cover both sides of Glasgow, we have a green and a blue goalkeeper kit. Like there's been boys that are like, I will give you money for a goalie kit, but it can't be green. Like it cannot be green. And it's like, okay, sweet. So covering both our bases there.
God.
As long as we don't have any Partick fans asking us to make a yellow and red one, then
I
we're
don't
all
think
good.
there's any Partick fans in general, mate. So you're all right.
Favorite player? Oh God,
I'll let you go first.
it's gonna be David Beckham again. But current or more current favorite players. So I was a massive Daniele De Rossi fan.
I see that in the 11.
Yeah. Oh, like Honestly, I just love, because I've never seen a boy in the centre midfield that could just ping a 50-yard pass or whatever and then also just break somebody. And like, I am a shithouse right back, so I just appreciate someone just being like, nope. Someone having all that talent and then being like, I'm going to crunch you now.
Yep.
That's probably, I struggle these days to think of a player that I'm a massive fan of. I do like Bruno Fernandes, I would say that. But again, I am a shithouse player, so
Bruno's a bit of a shithouse himself, isn't he? Like, I'm a shithouse manager.
So underrated though. If he was playing for like someone with like an actual good, if he wasn't feeding Anthony Martial,
Man United would be 10th if it wasn't for Bruno. Yeah, in my own opinion.
We'd probably be 20th to be fair.
I'm big on board with the shithouses. I was getting my 9-year-old striker to put a 9-year-old goalkeeper in his own goals last night.
Yeah, but maybe I have to cut that bit.
So.
Cut that.
I would go Vinicius Jr.
Was it
Vinny Jr.?
Vinny Jr. Oh.
That's
he's certainly come
like
hella far these days.
I didn't expect him to turn into 2-3 seasons ago. I didn't expect him to turn into that top 3 in the world that he is right now.
No,
that's his pace and running in behind defenders is frightening. I don't think I've seen anyone more direct than him since Arjen Robben. You know, so it's probably the most direct winger I've ever seen in my life. Just somebody who can actually run it. I think we spoke about it before. He'll beat you. You know what he's going to do to you.
Yeah.
He does it anyway. He's like,
you can't stop it. It's like, I'm going to do the exact same thing every single time, and there's not a thing you can do about it. It's a beautiful.
It's an art.
It's art. Yeah, completely.
Phil, who you got?
Was it favourite player of all time? Or was it
favourite player of all time? Yeah. Well, you could give me who your favourite player is just now.
Alan Smith again.
Yeah, I mean,
don't say Patrick Bamford, please.
No, Christ, no. He's just started a podcast, I'm sure.
Is he?
Has he?
That'd be an interesting one.
But, favourite of all time. To this day, I'd still, I was saying to you earlier, I'd still go on YouTube and watch just Ronaldinho highlights. He's just such.
It's a joy.
Yeah.
They don't make him like that anymore.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Like, I feel really bad because, like, Man City is probably one of the greatest teams. Like, as a Man United fan, like, saying this hurts, but Man City is probably one of the greatest club sides of all time, and I just can't be arsed to watch it. Like, there's just no spontaneity to it. It's so, like, mathematically just perfect. It's just sort of, it's like AI art, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, okay, it looks good, but, you know, there's no sort of joy behind it.
No.
I'd go Ronaldinho just purely because he's just such a, he just knows how to work that ball, doesn't he? Like,
genius.
I'm just going to end on that saying I think there is 115 reasons to watch Man City at the moment. If you know, you know.
Inject it in. One of our boys in the team he's a massive Man City fan, and see the day those chickens come home at roost, I will be outside his house with a drum and fireworks. I cannot wait.
I mean, they're not helping themselves. Like, going to go sue the Premier League doesn't make you look any more innocent. It kind of looks like you're trying to get the knockout blow in before someone else does, you know what I mean?
I'm just wondering how long till the rumours of the Super League start up again now.
Well, I think it's already happened. I think the Premier League is the Super League. Well, it just is, isn't it? Like,
pretty much is.
The only three teams that can compete for players, Premier League sides, Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Paris Saint-Germain.
So Bayern could probably do it as well.
Yeah, just about.
I can't remember the player, but I remember, was it last summer? It was like such and such turns down AC Milan for Bournemouth. And I was like, that is minging.
Yeah.
That is minging.
A club name doesn't mean anything anymore.
No.
It's a paycheck, and it's disgusting the way football's got. You get very few players that'll go and want to play for a team just because it's a team, like an institution like AC Milan. They'll see 90 grand a week in Bournemouth over 40 grand a week in Italy, and that's where they're going all day long. But at the end of the day, I'm not in them shoes. If you're offering me 90 grand a week or 40 grand a week, I'm taking 90 grand a week.
I would do an unholy amount of things for 90 grand a week.
Exactly, mate. Exactly.
I don't even think I can say them out loud, the things I would do for that amount of money.
Right. Interested in one next. Best player you've seen at Moray Mental Health Football Club?
Are we going to say this at the same time?
well, I've got two.
Oh, okay.
But I've got two because they both hold different values.
Okay, I like that.
So the obvious one, DD's incredible.
Yeah.
Like no one can deny how good he is. But the other two people, so he wasn't the actual one, was Grizz.
Oh, man.
He genuinely, he has his ability to holds himself in high pressure situations with control over the ball. It's just honestly amazing to watch. Like you can just have full confidence and rely on him to just get himself out of a situation, whether there's 3 people on him or not, and get that ball out.
He has gone through so much in his life that, like, I find it incredible. Like, some days that he can just drag himself out of bed, and the fact that he can be like him along with a couple of other boys, just like carrying the team and
He's such an incredible footballer. His footwork is mastery. Talking about Ronaldinho, like his footwork is mastery.
Yeah.
So I'd say Grizz, and then the other person that I'd say is Jamie, and purely because on that first football game we ever played, he just really knows how to show leadership on a football pitch, and like I hold that in such high regard. His leadership on a football pitch, and he was just really supporting the back and the front, and he was just talking to everything. He really ran that football game for us, and like we said it after, we had a conversation, like he just really ran that team on the pitch, just and like I hold that in such high regard, that sort of quality. So my 2 best people or best players would be Grizz and Jamie on that team, I think.
I mind for our first ever kickabout, obviously we were terrified no one was going to show up and it was just going to be the 3 of us. So Steve was like, I've invited a couple of boys down. I think I invited Azza, and I think I invited a couple more. Higgy, of course. Higgy, I invited him down as well. But Steve goes, oh yeah, I'm bringing DD down. And I was like, oh, who's that guy? And he was like, oh no, like he's good. Like he's a good lad. You know, he's a good player. Like, you know, it'll be great. And I was like, sweet. And I remember 60 seconds into the game, like DD received the ball with his back to me, and I went up to try and close him down. I still don't really know what he did, but he nutmegged me. Yeah. And I just sort of fell down.
Just over like that.
Yeah, I just fell down. I just fell down, and it's like this guy in a Bayern Munich top has just absolutely done me on. And as well, because Nicola was filming for STV News as well, and I was like,
he's got such pace on him, and he's got
everything.
Yeah, great footballer to watch.
But he absolutely ruined me. And then I remember, like, I don't know, like a couple of kickabouts later, Steve was like, oh yeah, Didi's coming down. I was like, fucking Didi. Yeah. I was like, that guy that absolutely rinsed me.
You just hope when they're picking the numbers, you're on his team.
Yeah, just a bit. But it's Elgin Thistle he plays for, isn't it?
FC Thistle.
Thistle, sorry.
Forest, yeah. I think he plays for everybody.
And I'm right in thinking Steve plays for them as well.
Yeah, he sticks. Yeah.
But I look at their lineups, and that's like,
it's terrifying.
It's like a welfare select. It's not even as a junior select. That's not even a welfare select.
Oh, I know. It's funny. Like we've got like a note, like a notes with like future plans and whatever, and like we'll have a thing saying future games ? And there's literally one name under like no future game, and it's Thistle. Like it's like not like no shade against them. They're fantastic. They would, absolutely ruin us.
Yep.
Like there's like boys I went playing for that team that I saw play for Forest Mechanics, like growing up and stuff, and I'm like, they would destroy us.
Yeah. Really good team. But high quality in that welfare just now. It's unbelievable, There's
a lot of talent football wise in this area. There's just nowhere to go, I don't think. I think Elgin City's improving. There was a few dark years with Elgin where it was like, are they better in the Highland League? Which is terrible to say, but Alan Hale, he's doing an incredible job. Fantastic. Like I remember I went to a Huntley game because again I like ground hopping, and I want to say it's one of his last games in charge. And speaking to people that were there, and they're like, this guy's, he's got the drive, he's got the determination, he's got the boys thinking differently about how to play the game. And the fact Elgin were smart enough to go for him, I think is incredible. Yeah. But and then you look at the likes of Cali, like Cali's a mess. Like, will they even exist? Well, in this sort of inclination, are they going to be, they could be League Two more sooner than they're back in the Championship. You have no idea. But there's so much good players, so many good players here, but there's just not that opportunity, I don't feel like. So the likes of your Summer League, Highland League, even juniors. Yep. My brother-in-law plays for Isle of Vale. He's just won the league with them.
Which just won the double, haven't they?
Won the double, yeah, exactly. Apologies, yeah, exactly. They've just won the double. Like, without these sort of teams nearby, there's nothing else. Yeah.
And we've had Frazy Kellis on in the past. Like
that's just us hit the hour mark.
Loss of United have kind of pushed on in the last couple of years.
Great to see them back. 'Cause they were out for a wee while, were they not?
A couple of seasons, and Fraser's a great guy.
Bucky Rovers are back as well, which is good to see.
Bucky, Dufton have always had a really strong team, and no, it's good. It's good. Okay, what's next for you guys for Moray Mental Health? What's the next step?
Do you want to break the news?
I'll let you. You did most of the work to get it sorted.
No, I insist.
So in July, you know all the names to it, but we're going to be playing in Dublin. Been invited to an away day in Dublin.
Can I just get you to move that a little bit closer?
Oh yeah, sorry. So yeah, playing in Dublin, taking a squad down there. Is it the
20th of July? Yeah. So we're in conjunction with a group of a group called Head in the Game, which is a group of Irish fans that got together. Excuse me, sorry. A group of Irish fans that got together when they lost a good friend, and they made this like support group based around football.
Yeah.
And in conjunction with them, we're playing against, I'm going to butcher the name because it's Irish, but I think it's Felashane Fathers, which is a football team of bereaved dads.
Right.
So we're playing a charity game there, and it's going to be in just outside of Dublin in Drogheda.
Yeah.
So we're over, like, to be honest, it still feels
nervous but excited.
That's awesome.
But it's gonna be incredible, and hopefully we raise a lot of money for some Irish charities over there. We're hoping to mental health. Again, the team of bereaved dads, they raise money for those that have experienced baby loss and helping support them.
Mm-hmm.
So we're hoping to raise a lot of money and then hopefully one day get them back over here for the return leg.
That's brilliant.
But yeah, we're about 5 weeks out from that, which is nerve-wracking.
It's flown by. So
yeah, it's terrifying.
Fantastic. So that's amazing. That's kind of blow you away how far you've come in a year.
Oh yeah, it's like sometimes we question ourselves, like,
did you get imposter syndrome?
I'm literally about to say that. It's like, is this really happening? Like, it's. It'll become real when it happens, when we get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even then, you're going to be like
what am I doing?
Like, there's boys in the team that have never left the country, so like this will be literally like their first time going abroad, and there's the fact we're going to be playing in an actual League of Ireland ground is incredible.
Yeah.
It's scenes, honestly.
Fantastic, guys. Okay. I'm looking forward to seeing all that on social media. Sure, you guys will have a big photo dump up and things like that.
Yeah, and
we're trying to film it.
Yeah, we're going to film as much as we can and try and make a big video of that. But yeah, future plans wise, we are ambitious, but almost to our own fault sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd like to eventually have a female sort of side to Moray Mental Health, like a female team.
Yeah.
Because obviously we've always said like we're inclusive, men, women. We like it doesn't matter. Like you're all just here to play. But speaking to our wives, they made it quite opened up our eyes to it. Where it'd be like, okay, you know, women coming down, that's great. But imagine you're a woman turning up and there's just 35 blokes.
Yeah,
like that can be intimidating.
Absolutely.
And like we try and be as welcoming as we can, but obviously you can't force people to want to join in. So we'd love to eventually have female volunteers, female players, female kickabouts, purely just for that. We would love to get that at some point if the appetite's there for it. And we've got a game, sort of like not the birthday game, but sort of like a year to the day of our first charity match. We'll be playing in September. So we're technically going to be playing against ourselves, but it's going to be more boys from the kickabouts taking part. So we're going to have, obviously, because like we have a squad of 20 for the charity, and if we've got 47 people coming down to the kickabouts, or we're averaging over 40, it's a lot of people to be telling you've not quite made it this time, but you'll. So we're going to have the opportunity to give more people the chance to play. So we're going to be playing at Mossett Park, our local, our home ground. Well, I don't even know if we can call it our home ground, but certainly the
town ground.
Yeah. So that'll be great. So a lot of boys that maybe haven't played there before, haven't played on to that sort of standard. And again, we're hopeful just to raise a lot of money for charity and good causes in the area. Like we've had 3 charity games so far, and we've raised just under $5,000. So, and that's gone directly to good causes. So
really well done.
We just want to keep smashing that. Really,
Onwards
it's
and
such a nice
upwards.
feeling.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I know this one, but I like to finish off my questions. What's been your proudest achievements through this whole kind of thing? Or is there, maybe put this further, is there any kind of stories that you can give me that, like personal stories, you don't have to name names for anyone, anything you can think you maybe changed someone's life, or what's kind of your proudest achievements to do with the football club?
For me, it's probably that first charity match at Mossett Park. It was just not something that we ever had on our radar of doing. And then when the idea came up, it almost did, like you said earlier, it felt like imposter syndrome of like, who are we, like organising, you know, what we're doing. And then there was so much work that was going into it when it finally happened. And I mean, like I said, it's not about winning or losing, but we won, and it was just a great feeling. And then just like having all the boys on the team as well playing and stuff, and loads of people saying like, "Oh, they're so thankful to play at Mossett Park and stuff." And I'd probably say that was and like so far,
like a couple of the boys, they were like, "I never thought my kids would get to see me play on a Highland League ground, or even get to see me pull on my own shirt with my own number." Awesome. And it's great for them to be able to like give them that memory, I guess. Like it's a really like I think people underestimate how good it feels to actually like just make people feel good. Like
you're making guys feel 10 foot tall for 90 minutes. Like
exactly. And I think one of my favorite things is just like when like we put up a post this week. Dale, one of the boys in one of our regulars, he's had bad anxiety, depression for years, and he's like put himself out there. We put up a post this week, and basically we called it like what it means to me. So what it means to play in the kickabouts, play in the charity team, whatever you want it to be. And he's so open about how good it's been for him, and like he kicked the football for years, like he kicked playing football for years, and came back with us, I think just through chance. I think he was volunteering at Soccer Sevens maybe, and just decided to join in, and he's never left. He's never not been back. So like the fact that he's just so open about everything now is like fantastic to see.
It kind of reminds you why you're doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's quite a thing. Yeah.
Oh man, it's great, and it's just nice to be nice, and it's a great feeling when someone tells you you've done good. You know what I mean?
Awesome, fantastic, guys. You've got anything personal to yourself, or is it just kind of like the if you've got a collective, but personally anything just out with Moray Mental Health? Any personal achievements in kind of football or football related?
Football related, probably winning Soccer Sevens League.
I like it. Yeah,
I've still got my medal.
Yeah. Just getting that trophy and winning that league and saying "fuck you" to Forest Mechanics. I'm playing the Soccer Sevens final. I don't care about your one season game. Yeah, probably that Soccer Sevens final.
I know it's quite weird, but it was like when we the EV2 kit we've got here, which is the old one. Like I just remember when that came in, and I was just like, "Fuck yeah!" I was just like, you know, it feels more real when you've got it in your hands and you're wearing it, and it's like, you know, this is like the start of something good. And
was it straight on as soon as it came in the door?
Oh yeah.
I don't blame you. I really don't.
I was like, oh, I'm on my way home from work. I'll swing by and get mine.
Yeah, literally, it was like ding dong. Here we. But no, it's obviously, you know, that like sort of. I'm not sure if it's a phrase or not, but it's like I would love to know when the good times are the good times, or it was something to that.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
You'd love to know when the good times are over.
Yes, something along those lines. And it was like, I would love to have known then what it was going to turn into. Mm-hmm. So like when we first got the kits, and we were like, okay, if we get 5 people turn up, this is going to be great. And then a year later, we're going to Dublin. We've got new friends, people that I didn't even know 6 months ago, good friends, go to the pub with them, go watch football with them now.
That's what you want.
It's like, I would love to have known then what it would have turned into. Mm-hmm. And it would have saved a lot of stress as well, I think.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Smashing answers, guys. 1 to 11. This is How many players each how did you go about picking this? What was the selection process? Because this is a combined 3 of you as 11. What was the selection process? Did you have to decide a formation? Did you have to pick each position?
I'll caveat this by saying Phil has muted every single chat he is ever in. So
I get easily overwhelmed with it. So if there's something of high importance, then Slinger will just message me personally, be like, Phil, go respond to this and stuff.
But with the 11, so we were like, right, 11 players. It's like we'll go 3 each, and then we'll agree on 2 more. So Phil was silent. Understandable. He does that. It's completely understandable. We're used to it. So me and Steve, I think Steve picked 3 attackers. Then I was like, I kind of wanted an attacker in there. And my one of my favorite players going to mechanics as a kid was Charlie Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like I don't think I could name any other forwards mechanics player I ever watched during that time personally, but like Charlie Brown was always the one that stuck with me. And I mind once playing Cuppy as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And he just walked by and like played Cuppy with us. We were like, I don't know, 12. And he's like a grown man who plays for Force Mechanics. So it was kind of like low key, like meeting your hero sort of thing. So I put him in there. And then we're like, right, we need to agree on a goalie. And I think you wanted Paul Robinson. I wanted Nighty. And then we settled on Steve.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we were like, right, we got to think of one more player between us. And we're like, we got to get Didi in there. Like, it wouldn't be fair on us to not have Didi in there.
Yeah.
But then...
I'll just read it out.
Oh, mate.
So I'll go 3-2-3-2. Daniel De Rossi, Sergio Ramos, Roberto Carlos. Right, help me, Ryan, on this second name. Juninho Pernambucano.
Leon legend.
Yep. Kaká, Didi, Ronaldinho, Messi, Ronaldo. That's Cristiano Ronaldo. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was Steve's
And
choice, aye.
Charlie Brown. Okay. So we've talked about a few. Juninho. That's a free kick guy, isn't it?
Yeah. One of
Champions League highlights.
One of the old FIFA games, like the opening video was a Juninho free kick where the goalie requested not to have a wall because he was about 50 yards away and he still scored it. And that's like a core memory for me. Just like watching those free kicks with like the Verve line playing over the back. You know what I mean? Like,
that's such a memory. Like.
Yeah, oh man, it's incredible. Just get warm all over when I think about it. Like,
how did you come so we'll talk less about the player, but how did you come to the formation decision?
Oh, that was all Slinger on that.
We had no choice. We had about 7 attacking players. So I was like, funny enough, I typed in like obscure football formations, and Nagelsmann, you know, the current Germany manager, when he was at Hoffenheim, he played a 3-2-3-2, which I was completely unaware of, but I was like, that'll work. I was like, that'll have to do. So
I've seen 2-3-2-3. I've never seen 3-2-3-2.
Yeah, it's weird, but you got Roberto Carlos, who's a left back playing centre back. You got Daniele De Rossi, who's a centre midfielder playing centre back. It's awful. It's absolutely dreadful. But
I think Didi would be quite happy in being in there with Ronaldinho, and Juninho. Though he'd probably fit in quite well.
I was going to say he'd keep up with it.
Yeah, he'd be fitting in quite well. Okay, thank you guys. If you guys want to find you, we'll find your kickabouts. We've already given you a plug, and we'll run all that graphics on the screen. Give Chris's book a little buy. There's a good a good chapter about the guys in the book. We kind of finish off on the same question every single time. Sorry, if you want to find me, you know where to find me. I'm not going to get into every time. 111 followers, 33 ratings. We can do better, guys. Okay, that's just Spotify. 1 penalty. We're all about saving lives. Mikey's line. 1 penalty to save your life. Who takes the penalty?
Grizzly.
Yeah, I was going to say Grizz as well.
Okay.
Yeah, Grizz.
Has to be Grizz.
Right.
Absolute ice in his veins, that boy.
Yeah. Just cool as a cucumber.
Oh, yeah. Completely.
Professional. Can you give me one?
Professional.
De Bruyne, maybe?
Good shout. Yep.
Yeah,
Not really, because there's been other pen takers at City. He's not really had his chance to be a great pen taker.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Wayne Rooney. I know he was. Yeah, like I know he wasn't a huge penalty taker at United because of all the other strikers that were there, Van Nistelrooy, etc. But Rooney, like, I don't want the person in charge of my life taking a penalty and doing a Panenka. I want it smashed. Like, if you're going to miss, at least put your laces through it. So it's got to be Wayne Rooney for me.
Yeah.
Wearing the total 90s as well, like the yellow and black total 90s.
Yeah.
Has to be.
And if you're going to miss, it's got to be a 60-yard miss.
If you're walking on ice, you may as well dance. You know what I mean? Like,
I love that saying. Absolutely love it. Okay, thanks for your time, guys.
Perfect. Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah.
Cheers. Really appreciate it.
No worries at all.